Well, look, this is a fascinating story. There are council elections in Perth on October 17. There are several Lord Mayoral candidates lining up. The council had been suspended by the state government over there in WA. One of the candidates for Lord Mayor is a very pleasant human being known across Australia, Basil Zempilas. Now, you've seen him on television. He presents sport on Channel 7 News in Perth, Monday to Thursday. Since January 2014, he's co-hosted 6PR's breakfast program with Steve Miles. He's a member of Channel 7's AFL football commentary team. He's commentated at the Olympic Games. He's been a co-host of Weekend Sunrise. He is a local, graduated from Murdoch University with a degree in media studies and mass communication. He actually played football for the West Perth Football Club as a ruckman, but retired due to injury. He's married with a daughter and a son, so no longer on the list, as he once was. He doesn't know I know this, of Clio's 50 most eligible bachelors. I didn't make it myself. Anyway, he's now thrown his hat in to be Perth's next Lord Mayor. Now, he's on the line from Perth before he races off to, I think, hoover up a few votes. Basil, good evening to you. Now, listen, what does wife Amy think of all this?
Alan, she's right on board. She's my strongest supporter, although I must admit it did require a detailed conversation. I had to outline how we would approach it, but as many people would know, there's no way that I could take something on like this without her by my side. And Amy, I am delighted to say, is a 100% believer in me and in Perth, and we will stand together on this assignment.
Wonderful
so we're excited.
Well, good on you. You're a wonderful person. Listen, I note you've set out, this is interesting, 10 steps to improve Perth's CBD, and you said you'd forcibly remove homeless people if you were elected. And you said rough sleepers were a disgusting blight on the day. I must say this homeless thing seems to be a big issue in the Lord Mayoral election.
It certainly is over here. Those comments were from about 9 months ago. I'm pleased to be able to say that I've been on a journey of self-education since then. Those comments came after an incident where my wife got off one of the cat buses, the local buses in Perth. She was with my daughter, Chloe, who was only 6 at the time. There was a gentleman standing against the bus stop. He had a jumper on, he had shoes on, and he had nothing on in between. It was not a pretty sight. And Amy came home that day and said, I'm not taking the kids into town anymore because it shouldn't be like this. We don't feel safe in our own city. And with that, you heard that frustration. And I wish I hadn't chosen or used that language. And I certainly am more aware of the situation now. However, the sentiment remains the same. Perth needs to be cleaner. It needs to be safer. And a roof needs to be provided over the heads of those who are sleeping rough. So I have a plan there, but I also have a stomach to take on the challenge, and that is one of the big challenges facing Perth, a cleaner, safer, friendlier environment for families. If we clean it up for families, we clean it up for everybody.
Good on you. I agree with you entirely. Just one that's important. I mean, how would you fund this much-needed accommodation to put a roof over their heads?
Well, I tell you what I've been very pleased about. The state government have pitched in. They've got a program coming called the Common Ground Program, a more permanent solution, and they have identified, and it is the state government responsibility, as we know, homelessness. They've identified housing as the long-term solution, but it's a shared responsibility. We also accept that. And my view is you have to be tough, but you have to be firm, but you have to give those people hope. One of the things I identified, Alan, was a program out of Brisbane. A gentleman by the name of Norm McGilvray founded this program about 3 years ago. It's called Bed Down, where they use city car parks to provide a safe environment for the homeless in Brisbane to sleep. They roll out bedding, they put facilities around them, they build some toilets, there's some showers, they can keep their belongings there, there's lockers. The street doctor visits, they bring them some food and some counselling. Far better that they're in a safe environment, a dry environment, out of the cold and away from any antisocial behaviour themselves than sleeping in the streets. So I would like to partner with them.
Yeah, I was staggered, Basil, to read that Perth is the metropolitan electorate with the biggest number of homeless people, about 1,100 every night, sleeping rough. So I'll tell you what, it's a tough assignment. Just a quick one before you go, because I know you've got to race off. Is this a full-time job? How are you going to manage everything?
Well, regrettably, Alan, I won't do 6PR Breakfast Radio next year should I be successful, and I've made that announcement. I'm sad to have to make that announcement because I love doing the breakfast program on 6PR with Steve Mills, but I appreciate that some people think talkback radio and the Lord Mayor of the City of Perth is incompatible. Fair enough. So, Lord Mayor, it will be no breakfast radio. But I will continue presenting the sport on Channel 7. And all I can say is 7 have given me maximum flexibility whenever I need
Well,
it.
Basil, the Lord Mayor in waiting, I think, and you'll bring decency to leadership, and that's what the public desperately seeks. So, Basil, I'll let you go and wish you well. You're a good man and good luck in all that you do. Basil Zempilas.
Thanks for your support, Alan.
There he
Much
is, a
appreciated.
candidate for the Lord Mayor of Perth, Basil Zempilas.